During the later Vedic period, kings across the Indian subcontinent were constantly at war. But when the dust settled, the victor rarely kept the territory they had just fought for. Instead, they would demand a simple, one-time tribute of treasure from the defeated ruler, turn their armies around, and march right back home. The land itself was essentially worthless to an invading army. Without advanced farming tools, a local population could barely grow enough food to sustain themselves, let alone generate the massive tax surplus needed to fund a foreign occupying force. Early warfare stayed highly localized. Kings fought for immediate ego and short-term treasure, ignoring the concept of long-term territorial conquest entirely. Then, by 600 BC, the technology shifted. Blacksmiths began producing heavy iron tools. These iron axes and plows could finally break through thick, stubborn soil. Farmers who previously struggled with wooden implements could now clear dense forests and generate massive, reliable crop surpluses. Rulers immediately realized the math had flipped. Taking a small, consistent percentage of this exploding agricultural yield, a land tax, was infinitely more profitable than looting a neighboring kingdom once. Driven by the promise of endless tax revenue, victorious kings stopped asking for tribute. When they marched on a neighbor, they violently annexed the farmland to lock in the profit permanently. The old scattered tribal boundaries, known as janapadas, were wiped out, forcibly fused together into massive centralized states. The Buddhist text known as the Anguttara Nikaya recorded the brutal result: the rise of 16 hyper-competitive, iron-fueled ancient superpowers called the Mahajanapadas. Let's look at the board these ancient kings were playing on. The map is divided into 16 distinct zones of control. The most prized target on this map was the Mahajanapada of Kashi. Its capital, Varanasi, is seen here along the enduring ghats of the Ganges, where it held immense wealth generated by a booming cotton and silk textile manufacturing industry. Further east, modern-day Bihar housed Anga. Thanks to its prime location along the waterways, it dominated river commerce, acting as the region's undisputed economic engine. Not all of these states were newly minted Iron Age powers. Kuru, Panchal, and Matsya were the old guard, ancient tribal nations that had existed long before heavy plows expanded the economy. Up on the extreme northwestern frontier, Kamboja and Gandhara guarded the edges of the subcontinent. Gandhara's capital, Taxila, left behind these sprawling stone foundations, revealing a leading city of massive urban scale. Removed from the northern cluster, Asaka sat alone in the south, strategically commanding the banks of the Godavari River. But perhaps the most surprising features on this board were the political anomalies, Malla and Vaji. They didn't have kings. Vaji operated as an 8-clan confederacy. It was a thriving republic where leaders ruled by assembly, and exactly where figures like Mahavira were born, proving democratic systems operated right next door to dictatorships. This board was packed with rich trade hubs, heavily armed monarchies, and fiercely independent republics. It was a continent completely primed for total war. With land now worth keeping, the heavily armed bigger states began aggressively absorbing their smaller neighbors to hoard their agricultural tax bases. The wealthiest states fell first. Watch Kashi's massive textile wealth make it an immediate target, while the vital commercial hub of Anga is swallowed entirely by its aggressive western neighbor. By the mid-6th century BC, the chaotic map of 16 states was violently scrubbed away. Only 4 titans survived the purge: Kosala, Magadha, Avanti, and Vatsa. These massive territories locked horns in a century-long struggle for absolute control of North India. When the dust finally settled 100 years later, Magadha stood alone as the sole surviving superpower. Their secret advantage lay in geography. Magadha's early capital, Rajgir, was a literal fortress. Look at this ancient cyclopean stone wall. The city was physically shielded by deep rivers and 5 impregnable hills, making it nearly impossible for enemies to breach. The era of the Mahajanapadas destroyed tribal independence. It centralized military strength and immense wealth into the hands of a single victor, laying the bedrock for India's very first great empire.